Hey guys, Bridge here. In this video, we're going to talk about some tips and advice that I learned over the past 10 years working as a UI UX designer in order to improve your design portfolio. Now, I work with over 40 clients and even Fortune 500 companies, so I definitely have a clear understanding of what clients are looking for the most part, and I wanted to shortcut and give you some tips and advice in order to have an edge in the marketplace. Now, the very first element that I want to talk about is thinking versus design, because a lot of the times as designers, we only focus on the aesthetics and on these pixel perfect designs, similarly to what we see on Dribble or Behance, and we think that that is going to actually give us an edge in the portfolio. And don't get me wrong, it's really important to create a really clean and functional designs and to showcase those in the portfolio. But a lot of the times clients are actually looking for the way that you think, meaning that they want to understand your design thinking, your process, your workflows, and the fact that you understand from a contextual point of view the project needs and deliverables. So it's really important for us designers to actually showcase that in our portfolio and not just show the design and the aesthetics part, because that's actually a small part of what the businesses usually want. They usually have goals and KPIs that they want to meet, and the design aesthetics are just going to be a part of that. So showcase your design thinking, and one great way to do that is to actually have a case study, but we're going to talk about that in more depth in just a minute. Now let's go to the very next section, which is talking about yourself. Now, a lot of the times I receive portfolios because I also hire designers, and I receive portfolios where I don't really understand a lot about like their context, where they are from, what they're like, and you want to understand a little bit more about the person, because at the end of the day, clients are hiring persons, and it's a relationship. It's a normal human relationship. So you want to give us some insights about how you are as a person, maybe some photos, some informations which might be useful. Of course, it doesn't have to go like all the way to like going into like personal details and stuff like that in too much detail, but you can understand like the general glimpse here. Now, another important element which I see a lot of designers are not adding to their websites and their portfolios is testimonials. And testimonials are super important in my opinion, because it showcases the fact that another person who previously work with you had a good or great experience. And it's always better, this is a general rule in marketing, it's always better to have someone else talk good about you instead of you talking good about yourself directly. So especially if the other person is maybe an established CEO, manager, someone who has authority, the more authority and the better. So this is definitely something that you can easily include in your design portfolios that can boost your credibility in just a matter of seconds, really. And the way that I usually do it is ask for the testimonials at maybe like 3/4 of the project. And I would make it really light, because a lot of the times, people are busy, even clients that you're working with are busy, of course, and you want to make it light. So just ask them if it would be cool to have maybe like 1 or 2 lines written about the project, since the project is going well. Of course, you won't ask that if a project is kind of like dying or not going well. But if a project is going well, the client is happy, I noticed that 95% of the time they're really willing to leave you a testimonial. So definitely a quick win that you can add to your portfolio in order to stand out from the crowd. Now, another thing which I previously mentioned is case study. And this can be interesting to have in the portfolio because it basically loops back to the first point, which is design thinking, and showcase also a little bit of your personality, how you think, how you operate as a designer. So this is essentially going to help clients give you more or give clients more insights as to how you think. Now, just before we move on to the next point, I want to remind you that I recently launched a free course on how to get started in UI UX design. So feel free to check it out if you're interested in getting started in this field, since I'm basically covering all of the essentials needed and things that I wish that I knew when I first started out, or that I wish that someone told me when I first started out over 10 years ago. And I'm also leaving free source files from the Figma, Sketch, and Adobe XD tutorials. So you're essentially going to have all of that in this section. But now let's go back to the actual presentation, which is we're talking about the case studies. And case studies, again, really important, and you don't necessarily need to have a lot of them. And also, in my personal opinion, they don't necessarily need to be like super long. They don't need to be like 10,000 words of a blog post. Actually, that could be a turnoff in a lot of cases, because potential clients, when they're analyzing and evaluating different candidates, they're not going to spend like an hour on each portfolio. So keep in mind to keep it short, sweet, and with the very most important informations, which in my opinion is establishing the problem that you had with that design project at the start, and then the solution which you came up with, or that the team that you worked with, that you collaboratively came up with. So this is going to be super useful in order to communicate more design thinking right away. Now, the last one might seem something which is kind of taking it for granted, like, oh, add a contact or a book a call to action. But a lot of the times I'm seeing like designers that are not really focusing much emphasis on this section. And for example, in my personal website, what I have, if you have a look at the homepage, is I have clear call to action to book a call right away. I prefer the book a call to action, although I also have in the contact me section, which again is an entire button, is the only button in the top header, simply because I want to give it more emphasis. And as you can see over here, I'm giving them the opportunity to basically send an email directly, or also leaving my Skype, and basically they can literally get in touch with me right away. But I also have book a call, like the buttons, throughout the main homepage, and also at the end. So kind of keeping it at the top and also at the footer of the main pages of your portfolio, I think it's really important. And I prefer the book a call to action compared to just receiving an email. Sometimes they're just going to send an email because maybe they have some questions. Booking a call right away might not do it. So I totally understand that. But usually it's really useful to hop on a call with a potential client, because that's where you're actually going to understand if you can create a win-win situation for the long term. So I really hope this video was helpful, and I want to remind you that on my channel I have over 500 videos on UI UX design, covering both software tutorials and all sorts of different other theory and videos where I'm sharing my experience. So hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.